The city never slept, and neither did Daniel. From the outside, his life looked perfect. The corner office, the luxury car, the endless meetings. But inside, he felt trapped, exhausted, and invisible. He had a high-paying job, yet no sense of purpose. He was achieving, but not living. And then, on a quiet night, he found a dusty book that would change everything. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. What happened next wasn't just a lesson in productivity. It was a story about life, transformation, and true success. The city lights shimmered outside Daniel's office window, but he barely noticed. Stacks of reports towered over his desk. His phone buzzed relentlessly. His inbox screamed with unread messages. On paper, he had it all: the salary, the apartment, the sleek car. But inside, he felt hollow, exhausted, like a man sprinting on a treadmill that never stopped. That night, as he shoved away the papers, his eyes fell on a dusty book resting on the shelf. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He flipped it open, and that single choice would change everything. The very next day, chaos erupted. A multi-million-dollar deal collapsed. Voices rose. Blame spread like wildfire. Daniel's instinct was to defend himself, to point fingers, like always. But then, the book's words echoed. You can't control the storm, but you can control your sails. For the first time, he didn't react. He responded, calmly, with clarity. By evening, a solution emerged. The crisis softened, and in that moment, Daniel tasted a new kind of strength, the strength of responsibility. A week later, at a funeral, Daniel listened to tearful voices honoring the man who had passed. They didn't talk about money or titles. They spoke of kindness, guidance, and love. Daniel's heart sank. If this were my funeral, what would they say about me? Emails? Deadlines? Endless meetings? That night, he crafted a vision. He wanted to be remembered as a father who listened, a leader who inspired, a man who left ripples of impact. It was the first time his life had direction. A compass. Back at the office, Daniel studied his schedule. Packed with noise, meetings, memos, meaningless, urgent tasks. But where were the things that mattered? His health, his family, his purpose. So, he took a risk. He blocked his mornings for deep work, evenings for family dinners, weekends for renewal. The world didn't fall apart. In fact, he soared. For the first time, Daniel was steering life, not being dragged by it. One afternoon, across a negotiation table, Daniel faced a ruthless client. The room was tense. Both sides wanted victory. The old Daniel would have fought. But now, he leaned back and thought differently. What if we both win? He listened, offered, bridge. By the end, both sides smiled, shaking hands on a deal stronger than either expected. Daniel walked out with a quiet revelation. Collaboration creates empires. Competition destroys them. At home, his teenage son slammed the door after another argument. Daniel sat, frustrated, ready to lecture. But then, he remembered. He knocked, entered softly, and for once, stayed silent. Minutes passed. Then, his son spoke. Slowly, painfully, about school, pressure, fear. Daniel just listened. No judgment, no quick fixes. And in that silence, trust was born. He realized. Understanding opens doors that words can never unlock. Weeks later, his team at work clashed bitterly over a project. Different ideas, different visions, endless conflict. But instead of forcing a decision, Daniel invited every perspective. Voices collided, blended, and finally, something extraordinary emerged. A solution far greater than any single mind could have created. It was synergy, the miracle of many minds building what one alone could not. But even as his world transformed, exhaustion returned. His body ached, his mind dulled. Then, he remembered the final wisdom: sharpen the saw. So, Daniel stepped back. He exercised, he read, he meditated, he laughed with his family. And slowly, his fire returned, brighter than ever. He understood. Effectiveness isn't about burning out. It's about balance, renewal, strengthening the blade before cutting again. Years later, Daniel stood at a company event. Colleagues praised his leadership. His son admired him. His friends respected him. He smiled quietly, remembering the lost man he once was. The man chained to deadlines and noise. Now, he was free, effective, alive. And it all began with a dusty book that whispered timeless truths. So, I ask you, which habit will you start practicing today? Share your answer in the comments. Remember, success isn't found in chasing tasks, it's built in transforming your life from the inside out. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more book stories that inspire, guide, and transform your journey.